I have a paper and a scheduled presentation for the INKT 15 conference in Staffordshire in April this year. Unfortunately, due to other obligations which I have not been able to cancel or postpone, I will not be able to be there in person. Therefore, I have prepared this video presentation and I hope you will be satisfied with this. I wish you all a very nice conference. The paper is about a regional climate change adaptation project in Denmark, and the project has just been finished, and I'll talk about the results from this project. First of all, the geographical setting. We are in Denmark, north of Germany, and we are in the capital region of Denmark, which is on Zealand, around the capital Copenhagen. There are 29 municipalities in this area. It constitutes a major part of Denmark concern economy and population. About 30% of the Danish population is living in the capital region of Denmark. The problem that we had to address is a general problem now to excessive rainwater and flooding due to climate change, and we have seen all over Europe the same problem arising, flooding and real damage to houses and to roads and etc. The answer to this problem in the capital region of Denmark has been to establish and develop the project called Klikovand. Klikovand is actually an abbreviation of the Danish word for climate, which is klima, and the Danish word for water, which is vand. We are talking about heavy investment all over Europe, and the investment in the capital region of Denmark will constitute around 10 billion euros in the coming 10 years. It will be based on a so-called blue-green growth strategy, which actually means that not only do we solve a technical problem with the flooding and the stormwater, but we also try to create values from this. So we actually see water as a resource and not a major problem. And the green part of the strategy is due to that we go for sustainability in Denmark and we go for CO2 reduction. So all the solutions that we're going to develop will have this sort of blue-green tag connected to them. And this is a national strategy. This is not only a strategy for the capital region of Denmark. The project Klikovand started already in 2008 and had a pre-project maturing phase. It was necessary to use a lot of time to get this project established, due to it had to involve a number of municipalities and also a number of public utilities company. The real project started in the start of 2012 and has run for 3 years now and has had major results concerning technical results as well as more soft results concerning organization, partnership development, and so on and so forth. The project has been so successful that it has went into a second phase now, which started at the beginning of this year and will also run for 3 years. In parallel, there will be another project which will be called Klikovand 2 Plus, which is dealing with the innovative part of the project. I'll be back to this later. If we look on look on this slide, you can see that the project has been divided into 4 main professional tracks. The first is the legal and regulatory track, which is dealing with all the issues in relation to legal and regulatory issues, which is an important part because you have to find out who's actually responsible for handling the water. Where is the responsibility of the municipality and where is the responsibility of the private house owner and the company or the industry. The second track is dealing with the communication, and it goes internal communication as well as external communication, which is an important part of this soft partnership project. The third one is the decision support track, which is dealing with the whole decision support process from hardcore modeling through planning and over the political process. And the fourth and the last is the competence development track, which is an important part of the project, as the internal competence development is a major part of this project. That everybody needs to get better competences through this project, and that goes for professional competences as well as more soft team building, political competences, and all that. The main tangible results from this first project, 3 years project, which ended at the end of last year, is that the first generation of climate change adaptation plans for the municipalities has been prepared. This has been by law that all Danish municipalities before the end of 2013 had to prepare the first generation of these plans. As far as the legal part, an online database has been developed, which is continuously developed concerning all kinds of issues related to water, stormwater, flooding, and so on and so forth, and especially interpretation of these laws in connection with the municipalities, what they have to do and what they are not allowed to do. The communication track has developed a mobile poster material. We have also developed an app called Kliko Man. Man means man in Danish. And this app in a pedagogic way explains to layman how you can benefit in your own garden by handling rainwater in a more intelligent and more sustainable way. And then there's been some study tours in Denmark as well as abroad, and there's been some exhibitions. The decision support track has dealt with, as I said before, with a hard thing as modeling. An overview has been prepared, a so-called matrix over the available models for this and what they are good to and what they can do and what they are not very good to. And then there's been prepared so-called conflict area map, and that especially concerns the borderlines between municipality, where there can be different opinions concerning whether there's a problem or not a problem, and this problem has to be solved political, professional, and technically. And then there has been prepared a so-called green spot guideline, and this goes back to what I said in the beginning, that we have this sort of blue-green growth strategy. And this is a way of using water as a resource and not as a problem, and especially excessive rainwater as a resource, not a problem. So we are going to make some tracks in the region where this water is used as a resource and creating value for people, for animals, plants, and so on and so forth. And this has been, and there has been prepared guidelines for this. The last track has developed a course catalog relevant for all kinds of issues in relation to stormwater and flooding, and then there has been prepared some tailored courses concerning specific relevant issues. The main soft resource, which is as much important as the hardcore resource, is that there has been an increased awareness in the region covering all walks of life concerning the issue about climate change, and especially climate change in relation to stormwater and flooding. There's also been an increased awareness amongst politicians and professionals concerning partnerships as an important tool in solving this problem. And there's been stronger political cooperation and professional cooperation cross-cutting the municipalities and in relation to the public utility companies. One major and important thing which came out of this project is that the region as such, or the municipalities as such, and the public utilities companies now have sort of one legitimate voice in relation to the national authorities. So instead of 29 municipalities and 15 public utilities companies talking with the national authorities, there is now one voice, one cell phone number they could call, and one voice that could talk with the national authorities. And last but not least, this is traditional when you start this kind of new innovation and development project. When we finish the project, we know how we should have planned it at the start. And this, of course, the next phase will benefit from. The main lessons learned in the first project period is that partnerships are essential for efficient cross-functional coordination and knowledge exchange in the public sector. And I mean, this is the way to organize things when you have this cross-functional or multidisciplinary kind of projects. But they are very complicated to establish, and they're very complicated to run. And consequently, it requires special capacity in the management group or management team. It needs to be a very fruitful combination of, on one side, persistency and resilience, and on the other side, agility. I mean, that you can move with the agenda and not be too hardcore concerning how you should implement the planned project, or not stick too much to your plans. It is, as in other kind of public projects, difficult to get involvement, and especially to get resources. And that's because, of course, the Danish municipalities has a lot of tasks, and they don't have sort of free resources that could allocate. So it is a challenge to find out how to motivate people to get involved, and actually how to motivate people to allocate the necessary resources. So one could say, in the bottom line for the first project period, that it has been a hard-earned success, especially due to the committed work of fairly few individuals and very dedicated few individuals from the municipality, and fairly substantial consultancy support. The lessons learned that we carry over in the new project that we could call Klikkevandet 2, but actually in the daily life we now only call it Klikkevandet, and Klikkevandet 2 plus, is that we will use now substantial resources for trying to anchor the project within the municipalities and the public utility companies. We will try to scale down consultancy support in order to make the project more organizational and professional sustainable. We have had not so good experience with fixed group that work continuously. It's difficult to get people involved in this long-term group commitments. So instead we will work with intensive working phases that are very issue-oriented, and will end with very sharp workshops. We will, and that's based on the experience from the first project, because how to actually do an operational project in the same way as you do an innovation project. So we have divided the project now into an operational track, which we call Klikkevandet 2, and innovative track that we call Klikkevandet 2 plus. All the activities within the plus part, we will try to organize as a public-private partnerships in order to get the necessary funding. When activities within Klikkevandet 2 plus has been matured and are ready for implementation, they will be anchored in the operational part, either as a new track or as an existing track. And this is beneficial for the innovation part, as all the administrative capacity is available in the operational part. The first innovation project we have in the plus part is a so-called Climb app, which is an app which could be used by everybody to sort of find out how could things be done in my area, around my house, around my industry, in my block, in my municipality, concerning climate change adaptation. And then you can see the consequences of different solutions, and you can have a chat function, and you can divide different solutions, and you can talk with each other. So this should be a very nice app, which should be built on sort of gamification concept in order especially to attract young people to get involved in the local democracy. So this is also a very important part of this app to sort of rethink local democracy. In order to capacitate the project management team, the overall project manager and now 3 of the 4 track managers have gone or are going through a master-like education at the Technical University of Denmark concerning designing and managing projects in network. If you look at the slide, you can sort of see the concept for these 2 new project tracks. If you look at the right side, you will see the end goal is to prepare or to support the preparation of the 2nd and 3rd and 4th and so forth municipal climate change adaptation plans. If you see in the bottom, it should, as the first project, be based on research and knowledge exchange with university, research institution, and other innovation and development projects, because there's a lot of innovation and development projects going on in Denmark, and of course also international concerning this, and we will interact with them. We're not going to find out things which has already been found out by somebody else elsewhere in Denmark or abroad. If you look at the top, it's a municipal project. It's not a research and development project. So it is the preconditions, specific needs and wishes of the participating municipalities and public utility companies, which are decisive for which kind of activities they instigate. If you look at the left side, you can see these 2 tracks where Clickevand 2 is funded solely by the participating municipalities and the participating public utilities companies. And Clickevand 2 Plus, if you can see, should seek funding from outside. If you look in the middle, you can see the concept that I talked about, that the green bubbles are the innovation project, and the first one is the climate, and they are sort of anchored in the operational part of the project. I say thank you very much for your attention and hope that you will have a very fruitful conference, and I do hope to be back next year with a new paper concerning maybe this project or maybe another project. And if you seek some further information, you are more than welcome to contact me, or you can look through the paper which has been presented at this conference, or you can look at the homepage where there's an English click. It's not very elaborated, but then maybe you could take a Danish course and you can see the more elaborated Danish part of the homepage. Thank you very much for your attention. Bye.